Hi, this is Will Cook of the Will Cook Group. Welcome back to my video blog. If you're buying a home in the Greater Palm Springs area that has solar, there's a very important question that you need to ask. Solar is a huge deal here in the Greater Palm Springs area, as we have about 335 days of sunshine a year, so there's plenty of opportunity to generate energy. Most of the time you hear about the types of solar is it owned, is it financed, is it leased, is it a power purchase agreement? But that's not what we're going to talk about today. What we're going to talk about is the most important question that you need to ask if you're looking at a home that already has solar on it. And that is, what's the NEM program that's associated with the account? Is it NEM 1.0, 2.0, or 3.0? So what is NEM? Well, NEM stands for Net Energy Metering. And here's a basic explanation. It's the program that the utility uses to determine how extra energy produced in the household gets credited back to each household account. So when solar was originally introduced, they offered NEM version 1.0. Then, as the utility provider realized they weren't generating enough revenue, they came up with a new program, NEM 2.0, and they introduced this in July of 2017. Then again, they decided to revamp the program and they introduced NEM 3.0 in April of 2023. So any household that has had solar installed since April of 2023 is on NEM version 3.0. And if the house you're looking at doesn't have solar, then if you were to install it, you would be on version net metering 3.0. The NEM program stays with the household for 20 years, regardless of who the owner is. If as a buyer, there's solar currently exists on the home, then you're going to inherit whatever NEM version is currently associated with that account. So what is the difference between NEM 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0? Well, with NEM 1.0, which was introduced in 1996, the utility allowed you to be on a tiered rate system. So the more you used, the higher the rate. Most systems at the time were installed and sized to keep you in tier 1, which was the lowest rate per kilowatt hour. And if you happen to produce more energy than you needed and you exported it to the grid, they would credit you at a retail rate, which was the same rate that you would pay if you pulled energy from the grid when you needed it. And this changed in July of 2017 with NEM 2.0, when all new installs were forced to go on a time of use rating system, meaning that you would be charged a different rate depending on the time of day, typically with the highest rates during the high peak or the high demand times of the day, typically between 3 and 9 p.m. But accounts were still credited retail rates for any overproduction of energy that was fed back into the grid. At this point, batteries and power walls started to get installed into solar systems because people would use the solar panels to recharge the batteries and then run off the batteries during those high rate periods of the day. Then in April of 2023, the utilities changed NEM again to NEM version 3.0 with the introduction of a tariff. The main change was that the utility no longer credited overgeneration back to the grid at retail rates. You were now credited at a wholesale rate, which was at a discount of about 50 to 75% of the retail rates. So the higher your NEM version, the lower advantage of the solar system. So what we're seeing is more batteries and power walls being installed to take advantage of being able to produce your own energy and pull off of those power walls instead of pulling from the grid and being subjected to ever increasing utility rates. So over time, there is an advantage to having solar because you have a hedge against those increasing rates. However, what we're seeing is that in order to get those advantages, solar systems are more expensive up front because you have to install more equipment to get the advantages. Again, the NEM version stays with the house regardless of the owner. So it's an important question to ask because there is value associated with a lower NEM version associated with an existing solar system. So first find out if it's owned, leased, financed, a power purchase agreement, and then ask the question of what NEM version is associated with the existing installation. One clue is that if there are batteries or a series of batteries or power walls, then there's a high probability that it's a NEM version 2.0 or 3.0, but it's important to understand the difference. And if you'd like to work with a team that understands these types of nuances for homes in the Greater Palm Springs area, we'd love to talk to you. Please give me a call, text, or an email. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.